The other
blackface.
queen, Elton John.
Let's talk about some blackface. Oh man.
That's a hell of a transition.
Yeah. Hey, Angela Merkel. Anyway, sorry.
That's Angela Merkel, but
Angela.
still.
Yeah, whatever.
Angela Schmengela.
So on this one, for a different thing that's unrelated to the Queen, I might add, Bachelorette finalist Eric apologizes for wearing blackface. Nothing but ignorance, this TMZ article states. We're going to read it. This is a pretty short article, and then we're going to discuss. So let me get through this before we start. It's triggering, so I just hold your triggers back. Hold your triggers back. We're going to get through it. Here we go. There he is. Bachelorette Contestant Eric Schwer, the last remaining candidate for Gabby Windey, is owning up to wearing blackface as part of a Halloween costume in high school, saying he deeply regrets his actions. A photo from Schwer's old yearbook made rounds on social media this week, showing him dressed as Jimi Hendrix, donning dark makeup with an afro wig. The 29-year-old real estate analyst from New Jersey is now speaking out on his costume choice, saying he wholeheartedly apologized for what he thought was a gesture showing love for the artists, but admits it only showed ignorance. I was naive to the hurtful implications of my actions to the Black community and those closest to me, and will forever regret my offensive and damaging behavior, Schwer said on Thursday. I am deeply ashamed of my actions and understand that my apology is only the first step in taking accountability. Schwer is Gabby's final chance at love on the season of the dating show after she parted ways with Johnny and Jason during the Fantasy Suite episode. It's not the first controversy involving race for the franchise Bachelor. Contestant Rachel Kirkconnell was criticized for attending an antebellum plantation-themed event in college and later admitted she was wrong.
Ooh. Oh,
So,
ouch. Oh, oh my God. No.
I'm just saying, like,
no,
if it's the case where he, like, doesn't, I'm just saying, like, there's not the same connotation to this that there is this. This one right here, and I don't know if you can see my cursor, on the right-hand side, that to me is like most definitely very, very, very racist. And I'm a white guy, so I can't like speak to this definitively, but this is where I'm at. All right. This right here is a caricature of blackness that is racist by all means. All right. This over here, I'm kind of struggling a bit to say that is strictly racist or whatever. Is it in poor taste? Possibly. But, like, if he's not using that as a caricature of making fun of Jimi Hendrix, who was black, I truthfully and admittedly don't understand how we, need to be, like, making apologies of this, especially during that cultural time.
I say, what year is this? And, like,
right.
What
He's 29, and this is when he was in high school, so 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And I'm just trying to learn here maybe a little bit. I'm saying, yeah, it might be in poor taste by today's standards, but back then there wasn't the same controversies that we see today as far as blackface. So, like, if he didn't know and it wasn't, like, in the mainstream, and plus he just... I'm just saying...
What year did Tropic Thunder come out?
Well, let's look that up. Let me see. Tropic Thunder.
Well, that's a different example.
Hold on. The only reason why I bring that up is because every single time, like, the subject of blackface gets brought up, Tropic Thunder happens to be one of those things where it's like, this is the one time it was okay. And
yeah.
Well, I had seen something about that.
I certainly am not advocating for this at all. I'm just saying that, like, I could see how somebody during that time, like, would think that this is okay. And really, when it comes down to it, if the guy wants to issue an apology, I think that's
fine.
Robert
that's
Downey
fine.
Jr.'s part.
That's commendable by
I feel
him.
like he was urged to do it.
But that being said, whether or not he was urged to, like, what? I mean, are people just bringing this up because they want to see him kicked about? Like, what do they want to happen to this guy? Do they want him his life to be ruined by this?
That's the constant question. That's the constant question when it comes to this. Every time it happens.
What is the consequence that we want for this person? Do we just want them to apologize? If that's all it is, then yeah, go ahead and apologize. And I mean, I don't know. What are we supposed to do about this? I mean, like, okay, it happened.
I'm just saying that this is the thing. Context matters, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It does.
And that's where I'm saying is like, I'm not going to ever really get on board with this kind of just blackface thing unless it's this. Like this over here on the right-hand side, once again, if you can't see my cursor, I can fully and 100,000% acknowledge that is clearly
100%.
meant to be racist. Yeah. But this guy is not intending at the time, especially because it wasn't even a fucking thing. He's not intending to be racist. The context matters. He actually likes Jimi Hendrix.
Trying to make himself look as close as possible to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
If he just honestly, maybe the reason he probably did this is I bet you if he hadn't, people would think he's Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic.
Who wants to be Weird Al?
Yeah, and I remember Family Guy.
100%.
I'm sorry.
100%.
Yeah, another Family Guy reference. But I remember there was a Halloween episode where Chris, he was trying to be he was trying to dress up as Bill Cosby, and he blackfaced because Bill Cosby's black. And then and Lois is like, Chris, what are you doing? He says, I'm Bill Cosby. Yeah, but dabba. And he says, no, you take that out. That's racist right now.
But I'm just saying, like, if you dressed up in just like some, I don't even know what the fuck Bill Cosby wears out in the public or whatever. But you dressed up in
public.
I'd say anymore he wears a jumpsuit. But
I get it. But get where where I'm going with this is like, if you dressed up, I'm a white guy, right? I'm gonna go to a Halloween party or something. I really want to have a costume that's Bill Cosby or any other. I don't know, Eddie Murphy or something like that. And somebody's like, well, what are you? Well, I'm Bill Cosby. What? Bill Cosby's black. Like, you just can't even be that right now. Because I'm just saying, like, and trust me, I don't go out. I don't go out into. It's not a case like I'm crying for fucking just to be Bill Cosby out in public. But the point is like, there's got to be a case where somebody's like, you know what, I want to pay homage to Bill Cosby and just kind of be fun with the thing. But now there's this really odd connotation of, well, if you're a white dude, if you're a white dude and you wear some, brown makeup on your face, you're fucking strictly being racist towards black people. And that's where I disagree. Is it's like, I'm not, once again, I never get a costume for Halloween. So I'm not like saying that I really want to just be a black person for Halloween or something like that.
So I mean, that's what I was
I'm just saying. Like, who gives a fuck? Why are we caring about this?
Is that the issue though? Is maybe like, I don't know, it's inappropriate for him to cosplay as a person who is black. Maybe it's offensive.
Somebody's like, why didn't you get a black person to do that?
Like,
you're whitewashing it, dude.
I mean, but no, I'm actually kind of being serious. Like, is it insensitive or whatever to be like, am I only supposed to play white people as a Halloween character
and that's
costume? Like,
I get that it's kind of a hot take. I get it. I'm not purposely trying to make a hot take here. I'm just trying to think through where the racism specifically comes out on this, because like, I fucking hang out with whoever, dude. I don't give a shit about race. I get and acknowledge that, race has been a major issue, especially in the United States, and we're built upon kind of like a lot of racism built within the United States and its founding. So I can acknowledge all of that. But it's like, I'm not saying this for the case of, I just want to be fucking, like a Steven Crowder and just be racist or just be, catchy or not catchy, but like, do a hot take or something like that. It's like, I'm truly trying to understand, how is this guy dressing up in Homage with Jimi Hendrix specifically racist. He's not making fun of Jimi Hendrix. And even if he was making fun of Jimi Hendrix, what if he was making fun of Jimi Hendrix because he thought that he was not a great guitar player, but it had nothing to do with him being black? Would that be still racist? No, because he's making fun of his guitar playing. So it's like, for us to focus in on this, blackness very specifically and wearing makeup on blackface, if this guy wore that same exact costume but didn't have blackface, you would just be like, oh, you're Jimi Hendrix, but you're white. Okay, that's like, where do we go with this? Like, I feel like they're overstepping a bit.
Well, there's certain people that are actually, a good portion of people are bitching that, in the superhero community and video game community, other races that are not white were not being represented enough, or that they're being over sexualized too, but yet, how? You don't have proof of this. Like, I watched this video about this guy who was debunking this lady. I can't remember what her name was, but she was an idiot. She was a complete idiot because she was trying to compare like Zelda Breath of the Wild, saying like how there was like racist kind of things within the game, like how like Ganondorf, because Ganondorf has dark skin, and dark skin is supposed to be a representation of evil. With literally, he's number one, he's not a human. Number two, that's because of like something else.
He's a member of the Gerudo race who are desert
the Gerudo
people.
race.
I mean, god damn it, these people are splitting hairs where it need not be split.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a member of a race of people who have darker skin.
Well,
having darker skin does not make him evil. It just means he is a part of a certain group.
We can talk, and this is where I'm saying that this is a much larger problem, is because we're talking currently about blackface. Maybe a ton of people that are listening or are going to check this out on YouTube, they're like, you know what, screw this Jason guy, he just doesn't understand blackface. I'll use a different example, and it's the same fucking thing. And I'm not one that's wanting to jump to the the defense of J.K. Rowling by any means, but let's talk about J.K. Rowling really quick. All of the goblins within her universe that she made could be construed as racist tropes of Jewish people. And there's this whole thing, and these, of course, J.K. Rowling brings on a lot of ire because of her, transphobic type of stuff that she does, and her, and we'll get into that a little bit later. We have kind of like a little bit of a segment on that. But to get to the point here is like, where do we draw the line now where it's like, okay, if we want to have like the perfect representation in fiction or in cosplaying or in costuming of, trying to not offend a bunch of different races, it's like, we essentially just can't have goblins in fucking fantasy anymore because that's a racist trope of Jewish people now. And I'm just saying, like, where do we draw the line at some point where it's like, guys, this, just because like a characteristic of, and the way that I've heard described on these videos, they're saying, well, the characteristic long nose nature and, these specific features is like a racist trope of Jewish people. And now, because J.K. Rowling has this racist trope of goblins in her universe, then she must be anti-Semitic or whatever. And I'm just saying, like, I think that the word racism is very often it's something gets thrown around too much, but I was going to say is it's often assumed when there's really no need to assume that. Like, I think you're really kind of using a very reactionary word in place of, maybe I think there could be connotations or whatever, but it's just thrown out as, well, this guy, getting back to this guy here in blackface, he's just a racist because he showed up as Jimi Hendrix with some brown makeup on. Context needs to really get back into the conversation, and I think that people are just being way too overboard on this. I mean, come on. Get the fuck out of here with this shit.
Well, back to the topic of Tropic Thunder, a point that I was going to make was that was widely accepted as not necessarily being considered racist, as it was used for artistic expression, as a it was lampooning people that would go to extreme lengths for method acting.
Yes.
And it was acknowledged as being racist when it was first introduced on screen.
I get why it is, but I just think it's funny that everybody wants to like try and point to that as being like this is.
Well, in that case, like, if people wearing different shade of color to be a certain person is racist, then okay, then by that logic, Marvel, the MCU to be specific, is racist across the board because Gamora's green. But this woman's black, but they put green over. Oh, is that racist? Or the Kree are all blue, or the gold people, and Adam Warlock, he's all gold. All that shit. I mean, it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, and we can even just quickly segue. Like, I think
gold people of the Sovereign and Adam Warlock is not one of them. Just saying.
We can just segue from this even. Let's. I'm going to switch the scene here, so we're not looking at this blackface dude anymore. But we've just been staring at him like for a bit there. But anyway, the thing that I was going to say is we can segue again. The fucking thing with the black Ariel, the black mermaid. Like, why, guys, gals,
that was so dumb.
People, why do we super high focus on specifically the skin color of this fictional character? Like, I cannot understand why we give a shit. It's such like a something that we should care about as much about skin color as we do hair color. Like, I don't think that I could look at Shloopy Snack over there and be like, you know what? Straight up fuck you because of your blonde hair. Like, you know what? Straight up F you, man.
It's turned brown over time.
Yeah.
It's not as blonde.
But you get my drift. You get my drift.
Man, you're trying to integrate into brown hair culture. Fuck you. But no, I've heard enough about the whole Ariel thing, and I'm just.
It's so dumb.
It's to the point that really, why do you fucking care? The movie's going to blow ass anyway.
It's not going to be good.
Regardless of whether she's black or white. It's a shameless cash grab of a remake by Disney. We shouldn't watch it based on that alone. Secondly, just to kind of play devil's advocate here, whether she's black, white, or not, it's a $6 cab fare between her eyes. Let's make fun of that.
Dang, dude. Oh.
If you look at the picture of her, it looks like her eyes are about 1.5 miles apart.
Yeah. It's a bit odd.
Remember that clip of the Family Guy episode I sent to you guys?
Yeah, just the eye wrangler. Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, we're good.
Hey, we need to tone it down a little bit, or Measles is not going to sponsor us next time.
I mean, Measles will sponsor just about anybody. The same as Raid Shadow Legends, with over 600 awesome champions that you can choose from to fight awesome bosses with a fully voiced campaign. Never mind.